Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I'd bring you along for a day in the life of an artist. So me. So being an artist isn't just sitting down and making something cool for a few hours. I do messy sketches, I have random bursts of inspiration, I need to get inspired. Like you see now, I'm outside having my coffee in the morning and looking at the view from my apartment. And those moments are what inspires me to start creating. It's really satisfying when something finally works. So today I'm taking you through my full process from the first coffee of the morning to brainstorming ideas and creating artwork and everything in between. If you've ever wondered what a typical day looks for me, or you just want to hang out while I create, then let's get started. So let's see. Usually, I start my day at home, and after my coffee, I do some sketching of random objects in the room or of a place. So sometimes I sketch my balcony, sometimes I go and sit at a cafe and sketch what's opposite me to just get my creativity started and my hand to basically not warm up, but like in a way to remind it like how to sketch and how the movements that I do. So this is what you're seeing now. I'm basically sketching my balcony or some very specific things in my balcony. I was more concentrated on basically how different lines can make different objects like pop out of the image that I'm creating, not the image of the drawing that I'm making. So that's what I really concentrated on right now. I like to keep it messy and at first, because it takes the pressure off of trying to make everything perfect, I just do like lines that are imperfect, and sometimes the best ideas come from very random lines or like mistakes in my sketches specifically. I'm mostly focusing on basic shapes and compositions here, just figuring out where everything should go before I start refining the details. It's not very detailed, but for me it is detailed. It's a line drawing in a way. Usually I'll make a few different versions like this and see which one feels most interesting to me. And once something clicks, that's the sketch I'll move forward with. However, I never move forward with sketching right after I made the sketch, because I need just some time for my brain to process what it drew, and maybe in my head also to make up the colors for it, because I don't always make super realistic things, as you know. I usually make random colors, not random, they're my feelings. But if I feel happy, for example, I'll make it bright pink, or if I feel sad and nostalgic, I'll make it green. So yeah, I just need some time to process how I want to paint it or how I want it to look. Now we move on to the next part of my day, where I go to my university. Let's see. Hi. So today you're gonna see me try to basically not recreate, but make something different, which is similar to this painting, which I made a really long time ago. And it was also in my exhibition at Fotogalerie Objectif, and it was a hit because of the meaning behind this painting. It's about people that have been forgotten in the war of the Greek-Cypriot War in Cyprus, Greek-Turkish War in Cyprus. It represents the people that were never found, basically the forgotten people that you bury with an empty casket. And these are cutouts of different people from these people that are forgotten. And there is a lot of meaning behind this painting. You can go watch my previous video that I made about this painting, so I'm not gonna go more into that because it's repetition. So basically, I'm making this painting with a bit of a different approach to it, more with different types of printing methods. There I use Gilly plate. Here I'm transferring a photograph I took of the painting onto the canvas, and then continuing from there on to see what feelings these people give to me now, given the specific situations we have to live through again. Not live through again, because it's not Turkish-Greek war or anything, it's just a different time, a different war, but it's still scary to see it going on. So I just wanted to see what feelings it reincarnates for me, or what's changed between the time I made that and the time I'm making this. So I'm really looking forward to exploring myself and finding these emotions. Even though I started to become more happy within my art, I noticed that the situation calls for this painting, and I'm going to see where it goes and what happens. For now, I will show you what I'm doing. You see, I'm with paper in my hair because of how much I have been actually making this canvas already. So I have my sponge and my water, and I basically use it to create this. So what I do is I gently rub over the picture of my other painting to make the paper come off. So I will explain in my time lapse exactly what I'm doing, so you'll see in a bit. Let's go. As I said before, right now I'm doing a gesso transfer to move my image onto the canvas. First, I take a photocopy of my painting. In this case, the two specific faces on my painting, my other painting. It has to be a laser or toner print, because the transfer works by lifting the toner off the paper and then putting it onto the gesso. Then I brush a smooth has to be smooth layer of gesso or acrylic medium onto the canvas itself. While it's still wet, I place the photocopy right on top of it, face down onto the surface, and press it firmly so the image makes full contact with my canvas and the gesso. So then usually you need to let it dry completely for 24 to 48 hours. This part takes some patience because the transfer won't work if the medium is still wet. Once it's dry, I start lightly wetting the paper, as you can see in my video, and gently rubbing it with my fingers or with a sponge. The paper fibers slowly roll away, and the toner from the photocopy stays behind, so it stays on the canvas, embedded inside the gesso layer. As the paper comes off, the medium starts to appear directly on the canvas. It's always a little unpredictable because things can go horribly wrong or perfect, but the imperfections and the slightly distressed look is part of what makes the transfer interesting in my paintings. When all the paper is removed, what is left is the black toner image transferred onto the canvas, which I can then paint over or continue working on, depending on what painting I'm making. So this is my process with this part of the painting, which is difficult because also if you want to rasterize the image, then you should leave a bit of paper on it, let it dry, and then look at it again, because when it dries, it's a bit more murky looking rather than when it's wet. So that's also another thing to look for if you will do this at home or wherever you are. Right now I'm basically rubbing the painting a bit more, because sometimes there are very small pieces of the paper left, and when it dries it looks murky, so you cannot fully see the print. So I'm just making sure to get all those little fibers of paper off of the actual print, so when it dries it can fully be viewed by the person looking at it, and the person looking at it can understand what it is. So I just do that for a few more moments until I see that, okay, this is what I'm looking for, and I let it dry and then go back to it if it's needed. This is what my painting looks like until now, after the prints. And now you will go on to see me start painting and start using colors to convey my emotions. At the art university, we regularly have conversations with our teachers, or with, they're actually artists, so with other artists about our work, and we talk through our ideas and what's working or what isn't, and where a project could go next. And those discussions are a really important part of the process because they help me to step back and see the work from a different perspective, from a viewer's also perspective, or a fellow artist. Sometimes it's about technical feedback, and sometimes it's more about the concept behind my painting. And I'm trying to communicate about also my ideas about my painting. It's honestly one of the most valuable parts of studying art, because it pushes the work further than what I might come up with, and what I might come up with on my own, of course. And this is why in this part of the video you see that I already started my painting, because I paused to basically talk with my teacher, and then I forgot to turn it on when I started painting. So my work has already started. So here is what happens next. While I'm painting, I'm gonna tell you like some valuable things that I learned from being at the art university. So one of the most valuable parts of being in art school is being surrounded by other artists all the time. Everything and everyone is working on completely different ideas, and that constant exchange of perspectives can really push my own work in new directions. We also have regular conversations with our teachers, as I said. We talk about projects and concepts behind them, and it can help us develop further, and getting that kind of feedback helps you step back and look at your work more critically. Another important part is actually having the time and space to experiment. So in the first 1-2 years, before the third and fourth year that I'm currently in, the art school encourages to try new materials, test ideas, and sometimes to fail, and to, as we say in the art world, kill your darlings. So if you really like a painting, maybe destroying it is the best thing you can do to it sometimes. And often that's where the most interesting discoveries happen, because for example, we have different workshops like wood, metal, silkscreen, and the graphic workshop. I had no idea that I loved to print things so much, and by print I don't mean with a printer. You should Google what print means in art, or like what printmaking means if you don't know. It's basically when artists use techniques from the print workshop, like screen printing, pushing in through a mesh screen, silk screen, etching, drawing into a metal plate and printing from it with basically ink, linocut or woodcut, which is craving an image into a block and then again printing it, monoprint, creating a unique print using ink on a plate, usually it's a plastic plate, and lithography, which is printing from a stone or metal plate using a chemical process. These workshops are valuable since they have like very unique textures, and the materials is also a wonderful process to learn the material itself, like with lithography, the stone, and it really encourages an artist to move out of their comfort zone of just pure painting, which is for me lovely. I love printmaking. I decided to start painting, and to basically add to this canvas with colors that reflected my emotions about the topic. So I went in with a deep purple and some reddish colors as well as some green. I wanted there to be a high contrast between the white gesso of the canvas and the color. Also, I wanted to add some prints to my painting, and I wanted the prints to be first of all of one more face, and that is basically a more faded away face. But when I printed it, I saw that it became way more crisp, so good quality than I wanted it to be. So I went ahead and just sanded it down with some sandpaper to create a more rustic and a more faded away effect, because the whole point of printing a third face was that it wouldn't be as clear as the other two, so it would convey a completely different type of emotion, a more as if I'm there but I'm disappearing. But the other two were more also like newspaper like it's what you read, like, oh, somebody has gone missing and there's a picture of the person and try to find them because obviously the family is worried, blah blah blah. And that's the kind of feel I wanted to give in the other two prints, because I don't know if you notice, but there are certain points that it looks like a paper got folded a bit, and that creates this contrast between the newspaper feel and the really crisp quality of the picture. So I wanted it to be a bit more faded away, the next one, so it can represent something different. It can represent the forgetfulness of the people that exist, that we forget our war heroes, or we forget our roots, you know, where we come from sometimes. And I also did print some fishes. As I said earlier in the video, that this painting is a remake of my previous painting, so I can see the emotions I feel right now, because time is changing and I am changing with it. So I printed the fishes way bigger. The sardines in the previous painting represented many souls that were lost and that were ignored, and in this painting I made, as I said, I made the fishes bigger because I wanted to show how maybe they shouldn't be ignored, and maybe we should fight for these people and these souls. With the white pastel, I go in and draw the little threads that the fishes are hanging from, and they're hanging from the cross that is shown from the middle to the sides of the painting, which is fragmenting the painting, and that's done on purpose. And decided to call it a day because I was really getting tired, and also sometimes I don't like my paintings necessarily from the start, and this was the case actually with this one. So I thought I just needed to let it sink in and to come back to it next week. And that's exactly what I did. I just went with my gut, and my gut told me to stop. And I actually went home after, and then I read a bit of my book, because my books help me to just calm down after a long day of just working. I later on just relaxed a bit by watching the sun set and having a cup of tea. So I hope you liked this week's video. It's quite big compared to what I usually do, but it was extremely fun. And please like and subscribe if you want more of my videos, and thank you so much for supporting me and helping me start my small artist adventure that I'm on. So thank you. Bye.